Evening YouTube. So it's another Friday night tonight. So do you know what that means? Friday night is hi-fi night. So James is already here. I picked him up on the way home. And as you can see on the table, we have got a pair of Bang& Olufsen 1702 vintage speakers, and they are connected up to that receiver on the top there, the Sansui 310. So the speakers are made in Denmark in 1972, and they are rated at 40 watts. And the Sansui 310, that is made in Japan, and that is 15 watts per channel, and that is also from 1972. Oh, 'cause I didn't realise that, James. Both of these, well, I did know that, but I didn't think of that when I was putting it together. Both of these are the same age. So 1972 was a good year for hi-fi, because I really like both of these bits. These speakers are decent for a little set of bookshelves, and I really like this Sansui 310 receiver. For the money it makes, it really is a good little receiver. And like I said, it is only 15 watts per channel, and these speakers are rated at 40 watts per channel, and they are 4 ohms, this set of speakers. But this little Sansui is driving them no problem. Now, I wouldn't connect 2 sets of these up to it. It might be a bit much for it because they're 4 ohm, but he's running 1 set no problem whatsoever. So as you can see, we have got my Arcam Alpha CD player going tonight. So that is plugged into the back of the Sansui, and we have been having a little bit of vintage hip hop, and now we are having some early 80s electro. Yeah, and it's been good, hasn't it, James? Pumping some old tunes through the Sansui, mate. He's nodding his head. Oh, you got to talk on the channel, James. I've had people message me saying, "What's up with James? Why don't he talk on the channel?" You got to start talking, mate. Hello, my name's James. Oh, you're such an idiot, James. You're such an idiot. I'm leaving that in. I'm not cutting that out. In fact, I'm going to make a whole video, hour long, of just you saying that over and over, because you're such an idiot, mate. Sorry about him, he's a strange lad. And talking of strange, this is a bit strange what I've got going on tonight, isn't it? Sansui 310 receiver, Bang& Olufsen speakers, and vintage electro. Now that is a strange combination, but I tell you what, it's a good combination. This Sansui and these speakers making this old electro CD sound really good. And I think it is because of the bass this Sansui's got, and these old electro tracks have got slow bass to them. Deep bass, but nice slow bass. So it's really sounding good through this Sansui, it really is. And it sounds so good, in fact, that this Sansui and these speakers might be my new electro system, because I tend to do that. I tend to pair a set of speakers with an amp or receiver and then use it for one kind of music, because if I think it does really well on that kind of music, I'll set that up on nights that I want to play that type of music. And electro on this little setup here, oh, I'm really enjoying it. It really does sound good. Now, I did think this little setup was going to sound good when I put it together, because I thought these speakers and this Sansui are a good match, because the Sansui's really laid back in a way, and so are these Bang& Olufsen's a bit. They are a bit laid back, and where this Sansui is driving the bass so well, it really is getting good deep bass out of that little tiny 5-inch driver. And I was thinking that a bit of jazz would be the music to play through this setup. So when I was putting this together, I was thinking if these two work together, this might be my little jazz system. But after tonight, I think that might have gone out the window. I don't know yet because I haven't played no jazz through it. But it's doing such a lovely job with this vintage electro. I do think it's going to be the little new electro setup. Good setup, isn't it, James, for a little bit of vintage electro? No, don't speak, James. You're better when you're quiet, mate. Yeah, so James does agree with me. This does sound really good with a bit of vintage electro going through it. So, first thing tonight we had a few little tracks just to warm the Sansui up. And then I put on that hip hop CD, and that's like vintage 80s hip hop. And being like right early hip hop, it's not too different from the old electro music. So we had a good few tracks off of that CD, and yeah, things were sounding really good. And then I was like, right, come on, James, electro. So I put the electro CD in, and we went bang. Right, first track, Nucleus, Jam on It, which is a real classic electro tune. Now I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. A lot of people will not like this sort of music whatsoever. My missus is a bit like that. She is not like an electro fan. She likes some tracks, but not that many. Whereas me and James absolutely love a bit of old electro. It's just so good, the old electro music. And I do think it's a little bit forgotten about the old electro music, because to me it really does have its place in music history. Like you can say, in the 70s, punk came along and it really changed music forever. Bands like the Pistols and the Ramones and the Clash and the Damned and all that, they came along, went bang, there you go, punk. Right, it changed music forever. Now, to me, I think electro done that as well. Early electro kind of started 1978, 79, some of them early tracks are. And then I think that kind of what I'd call the classic electro sound kind of carried on till about 1986. That's sort of what I'd say is the last kind of period where you was getting proper electro tracks. Then it changed, didn't it? About 86, I'd say. Things started changing. You went more down what you would call hip hop, so it changed more into that. And then you had bands like Run DMC and Public Enemy, Terminator X, people like that. They started coming in then, so they was changing the music, and then stuff like that built up, and then like 88, 87, he started getting like acid house, and then that turned again and went bang, there you go, hardcore music. And hardcore is another genre of music that I do think has its place in history and did change music forever. But any of you out there who love that old hardcore music or even jungle music, you owe a lot to this vintage electro, because most of the samples on them hardcore tunes and the jungle tunes and that, you can trace them all back to this early 80s electro. And the track we just had, Jam on It by Nucleus, that is one of the all-time great electro tracks. They really don't come no more electro than Jam on It. So I've had a few tracks on this CD tonight that have sprung out at me at sounding really good on this combination. So I'm going to flick the CD forward to another one of them. So here we go, James. Track 8, Imperial Brothers, We Come to Rock. Now, the beginning of this track is sounding so good through this combination. It's got like really good drums to it and a bit of a bass beat going on. And the beginning of this track really is sounding good on this Sansui and these Bang& Olufsens. Now let's give it a little bit more volume before them drum beats start kicking in. So if you don't know this track or you've never listened to the old electro music, you should have a little listen to this track. Now the chances are you probably won't like it. It is a bit of an acquired taste, the old electro music. But you should check this track out. Just listen to the first like minute and a half of it. Listen to them drum beats and that little bass line going on when it speeds up and all that. And I think you'll understand why I like this track, why I like the beginning bit of this track, because it just sounds so good. It's got such a good bass line going on. And if you've got a nice little setup indoors, just play the first minute and a half of this track, crank it up a little bit, and just sit back, take it in, and see if you enjoy it. Or at least see if you understand why I like it, where I'm coming from. And if you go as far as to play this one, you should play Jam on It by Nucleus, because that is an excellent track. And unlike this track is not one of my favourite electro tracks, but I love the beginning of this track. With Jam on It, I love all of it. It is one of my favourites. I love Jam on It. And I'm listening to this now. Oh, this has become my electro system. The beginning of this track just sounded so good on this little Sansui and these little bookshelves. Now that is surprising. I did not think this little combo would do such a good job with the beginning of that track. But it has. Them drum beats and that bass line really did sound excellent on this little combination, and that has shocked me in a way. I was not expecting this to sound so good putting old electro through it. So if you look at them track names there, a lot of them on this CD I would not class as old school electro, even though this is called an electro CD. To me, not that many tracks on that album are what I'd call proper electro, but this one is, and this one is a fantastic track. Track 6. And if you're going to play any tracks tonight, this is the one I would like you to play. And it is African Bambata and the Soul Sonic Force, Looking for the Perfect Beat. Now this is such a tune. And if you do check this one out and you do like it, there's loads of really good early electro tunes done by African Bambata. They really have done some great old classic tracks. And the other two that spring to mind from that band is a track called Play That Beat and another one called Planet Rock. All three of them tracks are well good. Well, as long as you like old electro, if you can't stand old electro, then you won't enjoy them. Oh, and this track again, it's just sounding so good through this little combination. It really is. I don't know what's going on here, but there's something about this Sansui, these speakers, and a bit of electro that is just working really well. There is synergy going on here tonight. It really does sound that good. Well, for what system I have got here, let's not get carried away, because this is not much money's worth of gear. This is a cheapish Sansui and a cheap set of Bang& Olufsens. And the sound I am getting out of it really does sound like I've spent a lot more money on this setup than what I actually have. Now, it might not work so well with some more modern, really fast, heavy bass music, maybe a bit of hardcore, bit of jungle, something like that. No, I would say this setup would work with a bit of jungle, because I have found over the years, if electro sounds good on a setup, it normally works well with the old jungle music. But that hardcore music's a bit different, so it might not sound so good with hardcore chucked through it, this little setup. And it might not sound so good with like normal music chucked through it, like a bit of Nora Jones or a bit of Eva Cassidy or something like that going through it. It might not sound so good. Same with a bit of T-Rex or something like that. That might not work on it. But when it comes to the old electro, 100%. This little setup is punching above its price tag. And it's going to be interesting when I start putting a bit of jazz through this setup, because that is what I thought it was going to work best with. In my head I thought, right, that is a little jazz setup. But now I'm listening to it with the electro, this might not work so well with the jazz, so I should probably do that soon. I'll have a little night in, dig out some jazz CDs and see what this combo sounds like with a bit of old jazz going through it. But I'm not doing that tonight, because tonight is electro night and I've got a few tracks I want to play yet. But I'm going to have to go and find the CDs, because I really want to play tonight. Now I've had a bit of African Bambata and I am now in full-blown Friday night electro party mode. There's a few tracks that I really need to have, because you can't have an electro night without playing these three. And the first one is Arthur Baker, Breaker's Revenge. Now this is a proper tune from back in the day. So once I've found that, I need to also find Rocker's Revenge, a track called Battle Cry. And then I need another track, and this is the track that I most need out of all the ones I mentioned. And I might have to break me bit of lino out, give it a good polish up with some wax and do some break dancing while I play this track. And it is a track by Al Nashfish, and it is called The Soul. Now, any of you who like electro music, you will know that track, and you know I have just told you about an absolute banger from back in the day. And that's a good one for you, Ray. That Al Nashville, The Soul track. Play it, Ray. Crank both your subs up really loud, because that track has got a fantastic bass line going on. So turn your system up really loud, Ray. Get both subs going and play that track. And you never know, Ray, you might like that track so much through your system that you have to go up B&Q, buy yourself a bit of lino and take up break dancing. So thanks for watching. Please hit the subscribe button, and what I will do with them tracks that I've just mentioned, if I can find any of them on YouTube, I will write down what they are and put them in my comments. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.